Predatoria.
Juu. Paitsi tää ei tajua, että täällä on 3 Predatoria vastas.
Niin mimmosin Predatori?
Niin, se jää tulkinnanvaralliseksi.
Joo. Jokainen päättää ikään vai?
Ei, se on ihan mielipide-asia.
Joo, vittu selvä.
Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 is, unsurprisingly, the sequel to the cult classic Space Marine from 2011. And guess what? It's back. Bigger, better, and bloodier than ever before. This game belongs to the rare breed of experiences I like to call turn off your brain and let the bolter speak entertainment. And I mean that in the best possible way. It's loud, unapologetic, and overflowing with glorious violence. I've been playing it co-op with a friend and it's been nothing short of a blast. There's something undeniably satisfying about mowing down waves of Xenos and heretics while clad in power armor the size of a small car. There's a specific itch these sci-fi shooters scratch, especially the green mark kind, where you're told you were not created in God's image, and Space Marine 2 scratches it with a chainsword. If you ever wanted to feel like a walking tank powered by pure rage and beauty, this game is for you. Being set in the Warhammer 40k universe, it comes preloaded with one of the most expansive and brutal sci-fi lores in gaming. And trust me, the hordes in this one, they're bigger, nastier, and more relentless than ever before. So, sit back, grab a snack or your third cup of coffee, and listen to me ramble about this testosterone simulator disguised as a third-person shooter. Let's dive into the meat of Space Marine 2, the gameplay. Because let's be honest, when you fire this game up, you're not here to solve puzzles or manage spreadsheets. You're here to become a walking apocalypse in Keramite armor. And Space Marine 2 delivers that fantasy in the most visual, satisfying way imaginable. The combat loop is built on a simple but effective formula. You combine explosive ranged combat with heavy-hitting melee brutality, but within that simplicity lies a beautifully tuned rhythm. You're constantly switching from bolter to chainsword, from mowing down crowds to getting up close and personal. Ammo conservation is important, positioning matters, and aggression is king. The game rewards you for charging into the fray like a true Astartes, not hiding behind a cover like a guardsman. Every weapon in your arsenal has weight. Bolters don't just sound powerful, they feel like mini rocket launchers in your hands. The chainsword revs with a mechanical fury, chewing through flesh and bone with a crunch that sends dopamine straight to your skull. Plasma weapons sizzle, melt, and explode in a spectacular fashion. It's all tuned to make you feel unstoppable, even when you're being swarmed by dozens of enemies. Then there's the Horde mode, and honestly, this is where Space Marine 2 shines the brightest. It's one thing to feel powerful in a scripted campaign, it's another thing entirely to test your skills against the endless waves of Tyranids that don't care about your loadout or your KD ratio. The Horde mode strips the game down to its rawest elements: survive, kill, adapt, and it's brilliant. It also supports co-op, and let me tell you, charging into battle shoulder to shoulder with your fellow battle brothers is some of the most fun I've had in a shooter this year. There's a genuine sense of camaraderie when you're reviving your downed friend while a swarm closes in, or when you both make a last stand in a narrow corridor surrounded by blood and alien limbs. Beyond the carnage, Space Marine 2 adds a light tactical element as well. Enemy types vary in strength, speed, and behavior. You'll find yourself prioritizing targets, taking out spitting Tyranids or elite bioforms before they ruin your formation. It's not just mindless hacking, though there's plenty of that. It's controlled chaos, and the game constantly pushes you to stay sharp. There's even a gear system, armor variations, weapon upgrades, and perks that let you tailor your marine to your playstyle. Wanna go full melee berserker? You can. Prefer to hang back and provide bolter fire from a distance? That's viable too. The customization isn't RPG deep, but it's enough to let you feel like your Space Marine is truly yours. In short, the gameplay is glorious, blood-soaked symphony of violence, and you are the conductor.
I need not remind you of the consequences you suffered the last time. If you cannot trust in the will of the Primarch, then you are unfit for this duty.
Joo.
Katso sitä. Katso sitä.
Siis,
Toi
tiiäks,
vittun aura, mikä tässä tuolla äijällä on.
tiedäks, tää on vaan niinku tiedäks niinku aura farming maxim leveli, tiedäks, ei tästä niinku enempää oikein voi olla.
The game picks up years after the events of the first Space Marine. Captain Titus has returned, but he's changed. Gone is the rank of captain. He's now lieutenant, demoted after his capture and questioning by the Inquisition. That alone sets a powerful tone. In the Imperium, even heroes are expendable. Glory doesn't save you from suspicion, and trust is hard-earned, easily lost. Titus now fights alongside a new squad of Ultramarines, younger and perhaps more rigid than he is. There's tension in that dynamic between experience and dogma, between what the Codex Astartes says and what the war demands. Titus remains pragmatic, hardened, and perhaps a little rebellious by Astartes standards. That contrast gives the story some genuine character development, especially for fans of the original. The threat this time, the Tyrannids, a relentless, all-consuming swarm from beyond the galaxy, biologically engineered to evolve, adapt, and exterminate. If orcs are chaos incarnate and chaos is madness made flesh, the Tyranids are cold, calculating extinction. No negotiation, no philosophy, just hunger. Throughout the campaign, you'll witness the devastations these creatures cause on planetary scales. Entire cities overrun, populations devoured, Imperial forces stretched to their breaking point, and your role, as always, is to be the Emperor's Angel of Death, parachuted into the hopeless situations to turn the tide by sheer force. The narrative is linear, but it's told with clarity and impact. Voice acting is excellent, with gravely Space Marine dialogue that toes the line between noble and terrifying. There are moments of reflection, moments of awe, and moments of pure dread. You're reminded again and again, this isn't just a war, it's the war. Humanity versus oblivion. And even though Titus is at the center, the story leaves room for mystery. What happened during his captivity? Why was he demoted? Has something changed in him? These questions bubble beneath the surface, and while not all of them are answered outright, they create an atmosphere of tension and intrigue. This isn't Shakespeare, but it doesn't need to be. It's Warhammer 40k, and in that context, this is an effective, compelling narrative that elevates the experience from cool combat sim to epic galactic saga.
Katso kun vittun hyvä tää peli tässä. Niinku tää Artstyle on ihan helvetin hieno.
Tää onkin vitu hyvä.
If you ever looked at Warhammer 40k concept art and thought, damn, I wish that was playable, then rejoice, because Space Marine 2 brings the tabletop's brutal beauty to life better than anything before it. The art style is a masterclass in translating exaggerated gothic grimdark into a living, breathing world. Every corner of the game drips with atmosphere, giant aquelas etched into fortress walls, skulls on everything, banners, weapons, architecture, and even your HUD. The world feels sacred and decayed all at once, as if you're marching through the ruins of forgotten gods. The scale is staggering. Everything is oversized. Cathedrals built for giants, weapons the size of motorcycles, dropships that look like they were forged in volcanoes. You're constantly reminded that you're part of something far larger and far more ancient that you could ever comprehend. Color grading also plays a huge role. The palette is saturated with blues, reds, and gunmetal grays, punctuated by the sickly greens and purples of the Tyranid horde. Blood contrasts beautifully against the shining ceramite armor. Explosions bloom in the stark contrast to the dark skies and ruined buildings. And the animation work? Immaculate. Your movements are heavy, deliberate. Every reload, every attack feels grounded. Enemies react to hits, limbs fly off, ichor sprays, bodies crumple, It's gloriously over the top in the most satisfying way. Special mention goes to the sound design too, which is part of the art direction in all but name. Bolter fire is thunderous, chainswords scream with murderous joy. The distant roar of a hive fleet arriving overhead is enough to raise the hair on your arm. In short, Space Marine 2 is a visual love letter to the Warhammer universe, and it doesn't just look like 40k, it feels like 40k. In conclusion, Space Marine 2 is not a subtle game. It's not trying to be clever or introspective. What it is, though, is a perfect execution of what it sets out to be. A brutal, glorious, over-the-top power fantasy rooted in one of the most richly imagined sci-fi universes ever created. From its tight, explosive gameplay to its satisfying grim story, it captures the essence of what makes Warhammer 40k so compelling. It's the perfect blend of spectacle and substance, of holy wrath and tactical precision. Whether you're a die-hard fan of the tabletop or someone who's just looking for the most metal shooter of the year, Space Marine 2 welcomes you with bolters blazing. And that's the beauty of it. It doesn't need to be anything more than it is, because what it is awesome. So suit up, step into the armor, and get ready to purge the galaxy in the Emperor's name. Ave Imperator.